Assalamu alaikum. My name is Jabelia Khan and my roll number is BP1650101 and the topic of my presentation is glucosamine. I'll start by giving a little background on the use of glucosamine. Glucosamine has been used alone and in combination with chondroitin to treat and prevent osteoarthritis. It is used because it is said to strengthen cartilage, and there are many studies conducted to observe the effect of glucosamine to prevent the breakdown of cartilage. Here I'll provide a little information about human cartilage. Here is an image of human cartilage. Human cartilage is a connective tissue composed of chondrocytes and extracellular matrix. The extracellular matrix is avascular and make up 90% of the cartilage. Proteoglycans are macromolecules composed of protein core and are covalently linked to sulfated glucosaminoglycan side chains. There can be two types of glucosaminoglycan linked to proteins, that is, here chondroitin sulfate and keratan sulfate. Here we have hyaluronic acid, which serve as a link protein which is bound to proteoglycans. The strength of articular cartilage depends on collagen, hyaluronic acid, and glucosaminoglycan. Glucosamine is used for the treatment of osteoarthritis. I'll describe the disease. It's a disease where patients complain of pain, swelling, and stiffness in joints, especially knee joint, and there is problem in mobility. This is due to an increase in degradation of cartilage and loss of proteoglycan and glucosaminoglycan. Now let's talk about pharmacokinetics of glucosamine. Approximately 26% of oral glucosamine is absorbed after first pass metabolism, and it shows linear pharmacokinetics at the doses of 750, 1500, and 3000 milligrams. It is distributed into tissues like kidney, liver, articular cartilage, and gets incorporated into plasma protein and other structure. Its volume of distribution is 2.5 liters. And if we talk about its elimination, so unmetabolized and unbind glucosamine is predominantly eliminated in urine, and unabsorbed glucosamine is eliminated by fecal route. It has elimination half-life of 15 hours. Now I have covered the case study of a woman. She's 66 years old. Her weight is 95 kgs and her height is 5 foot 4 inches. She's clearly overweight according to her height, and the ideal weight would be 55 to 60 kgs. Her chief complaint is osteoarthritis of left knee for past 10 years. And she has been taking acetaminophen, but for the last 2 years, her pain has become worse. And she's on ibuprofen 400 milligrams thrice daily. Radiographic examination shows that there are osteophyte formation and narrowing of articular space. The pain and stiffness is caused by osteophyte formation and narrowing of articular space. Osteophytes are lumped on bones of joints, especially on those affected by arthritis, and they cause joints to become painful and stiff. So we will advise her to take glucosamine, which can help in preventing breakdown of cartilage and can help with long-term pain. She can even expect to see 10% improvement in pain and mobility. We can suggest glucosamine as many clinical trials have been carried out on use of glucosamine. Two well-designed, randomized, placebo, and controlled trials have shown improvement in symptoms and in pain in individuals after 2 to 3 months of administration of glucosamine. In both trials, 1500 milligram dose of glucosamine sulfate was given once daily for 3 years. And a significant improvement in symptoms and narrowing of joints were observed in patients receiving glucosamine sulfate, and improvement in joint space narrowing were observed just after 1 year. The patient who were receiving placebo experienced progression of joint space narrowing and worsening in symptoms. So our plan would be that we would advise patient to take 1500 milligrams glucosamine per oral once daily. And if pain is intolerable, she's advised to take minimum effective dose of ibuprofen for 7 to 21 days and then discontinue it when her symptoms gets better. She's also instructed to keep a daily diary of her pain, indicating time, duration, and severity of the pain to keep track that whether the glucosamine is working or not. It usually takes 1 to 2 months for glucosamine to respond clinically. Here, in the end, I would like to mention some few important points regarding glucosamine. Number one is that it does not show allergic reaction in individuals who have shrimp allergy. This is because either allergy is caused by allergens present in crustaceans meat rather than in exoskeleton, and glucosamine is extracted from exoskeleton, or the allergens are maybe destroyed during the process of purification and manufacturing. Among all the variants of glucosamine that are available in the market, glucose sulfate is most commonly used because sulfate salt is required for synthesis of glucosamine. Glucosamine hydroiodide is a type of glucosamine that should be avoided in patients taking thioamide for thyroid disease. And now, if we will talk about adverse effects, it is although well tolerated by most patients, but it sometimes shows few adverse effects, which include constipation, epigastric pain, tenderness, heartburn, diarrhea, and nausea. Thank you.